radio app today. And we've got a great guest with us today. I'm going to go ahead and go to the phone line. Peter, how are you, sir?
I'm well, James. How are you doing?
Pretty good, actually. Give us a little bit on your background, my friend, before we jump into the topic here.
Well, I was born in New York. I've spent about a third of my life in Europe, London, Germany, Austria, working for various companies. And I recently came back, tired of the corporate world, and decided to do something more meaningful with my life. And one of the activities is to write a series of science fiction books under the Second Skin series title, the latest of which is The Tavern on the Edge of Time.
Well, tell us about this book. It sounds absolutely incredible.
Well, it is the third book in a series. Basically, to set the scene, we're in the year 2125. Mars has been colonized. There are huge orbiting smelters around Mars, and a series of team members are collecting asteroids and shipping them back to Mars so they can be processed. And it's against this resource-hungry environment that we set the scene. And in book one, the main character, Max Cody, is injured while mining asteroids and is repaired by an alien. And the alien doesn't quite repair him as a human.
Yeah.
He also meets his future wife. Her name is Elaine Zhu. And they move on then into book two, where Earth becomes kind of jealous of all of this might going on, this financial development, the technological developments around Mars, and decides to attack Mars. So then Elaine and Max get into the whole process of thwarting that attack. And one of the protagonists on the other side is a billionaire arms merchant by the name of Xanthus Rex, who obviously must be a bad guy with a name like that. And that sets up book three. So now the books are available also under peterdarrach.com. Darrach is spelled D-A-R-R-A-C-H. And, of course, you can find them on Amazon and iBooks and Kindle and all of the usual locations.
We've got
now, in book three,
yes,
if you don't mind me just going on.
Go ahead, jump in there, my friend. Go ahead, jump in there.
Okay, we finally get to meet the alien who repaired Max 2 books ago. We haven't really seen much of him before that. And we discover that his race, they're called the Chell, decided they were so perfect that they asked him to remove time from their continuum so they could continue in their perfection forever. So he was happy to oblige, but he needed a back door. He needed an access panel. He needed a shed from which to work, and that created then a bubble on the outside of this timeless continuum, which is the Tavern on the Edge of Time, where we have simulated time but no actual time. And through this tavern move a cavalcade of alien species who Max and Elaine meet when they finally go to the tavern in book three.
Wow. Fantastic. Tell us about the writing process for these great books.
The which process, James?
The writing process. Tell me about the writing process for this incredible read.
Well, writing, basically, my books sort of come to me. I'm not sure where they come from. The first book just poured into me, and I poured it right out. It took me about 20 days to write the first draft, and then there was a lot of fine-tuning. That was the basic idea of someone repaired by aliens. The other books have been a little bit longer and let's say, more planned and more detailed in the planning. There's a lot more characters. I'd love to sketch a few of the characters for you here quickly. Again, the books are available on peterdarrach.com. Darrach is D-A-R-R-A-C-H. And particularly in the third book, we have as many as 5 different plots moving forward involving, obviously, Earth and Mars and the Tavern, but also a number of new worlds that come into the mix. One of them is the Wasp world, where Zaflima is one of the main characters. She's got an extra set of arms and a very intimate relationship with vibration. And another one is a fellow named Harad, who is furry and has side-mounted eyes and movable ears. And they get to be quite endearing characters, I think, in the course of the book. But, of course, we got some bad guys as well in book 3.
Well, tell us about some of these characters. Some more of these characters, my friend. Build us the character outline here.
Very good, very good. Well, so I've discussed a little bit Max Cody and his paramour and future wife, Elaine Zhu. They're also supported by people running the stations, for example, around Mars. One of those is Daniel Sinclair, a 50-year-old gent with a gray crew cut who's usually worried about something. And he is actually married to the governor of the Martian system, a woman by the name of Marion Greenland, who has red hair, a fiery temperament, and a very pale skin, and is constantly causing some sort of issue with her colleagues and with the Earth government. By the way, Earth is perhaps an interesting point. Earth has changed a bit in the intervening 100 years or so. We find that, for example, China has fallen apart into city-states. Japan has combated its aging population by going for full-scale cloning, and took opportunity of taking over Australia when there was a debt crisis there. So the Japanese have expanded greatly. And there's a global executive who attempts to provide some order here, but also is a tool for Xanthus Rex, one of the nastiest characters in the book, a billionaire arms merchant who foments war in Book 2 and comes back to attack the orbiting station around Callisto, one of the planets, one of the moons of Jupiter, where Mars is establishing colonies to further their mining interests. So Xanthus also becomes allied to another set of bad guys in Book 3 called the Assemblers. Now, the Assemblers are sentient electric fields that actually animate matter, and you'll find that they have a personal aesthetic. I mean, one of them, for example, is interested in white pebbles, so he's more or less constructed of white pebbles. Another one's interested in metallic ornaments, so he's got copper and nickel and bits and pieces of this and that. And these assemblers become quite an evil force in attacking Mars, Earth, and eventually the Tavern. So we've got quite a colorful panoply of characters in the Tavern on the Edge of Time, which, as I said, is available at peterdarrach.com. Darrach is spelled D-A-R-R-A-C-H. And I haven't even actually sketched some of the main characters yet.
Well, let's do this. We're going to take a quick timeout here with Peter Darrach, and when we come back, we are going to chat a little bit more. And so hang out. We'll be back here in a few moments here on the big broadcast, coast to coast and border to border, all over the world-famous Jiggy Jaguar Radio Network. Back in a few.
Millie and Cupcake. That's right, cowcow.com/Millie and Cupcake. Also, check out cafepress.com/Millie and Cupcake, the number one. Also, Millie and Cupcake is available on Amazon. You can purchase the book through our link at jiggyjaguar.com. Millie and Cupcake available in paperback, also available for Kindle. It's a story of a girl and her wonderful pet. For many children, the experience of bonding with and loving a first pet is an unforgettable time in their lives. Millie and Cupcake is the charming and educational story of a girl and her companion animal, a different animal than many kids think of when choosing a pet. Check out Millie and Cupcake on Amazon right now. Millie and Cupcake also is available on the web at cowcow.com/Millie and Cupcake. Also, cafepress.com/Millie and Cupcake, number one. Tell them you heard about it here on the world famous Jiggy Jaguar Show. Let me tell you about search engine optimization that is performance-based. It is SEOgame.com. Visit them online and see the difference. SEO Game puts in over 30 hours of work to start keyword phrase search engine optimization services without a setup fee. Cool? Yeah, it's very cool. If you don't like your results, you can opt out at any time for 30 days without paying a dime. At the end of 30 days, your first payment is due and you get billed monthly thereafter. 5 keyword plans begin at $200 a week. 30 keyword plans begin at $500. If you want your business to grow, you need to get SEO Game performance-based SEO. Go to the website right now, SEOgame.com. That's SEOgame.com. techno-mall.com. Over 2 million homes are burglarized in America each year. Remove your risk of burglary with secure, remote, invisible locks. Without a lock to pick, burglars will struggle to find a way into your home or your business. You can even secure your windows and glass entryways as well. Check out techno-mall.com for more information. techno-mall.com.
Okay, folks, let's talk about self-development, wealth creation, renewal, and rejuvenation. Are you stuck in a rut? Do you aspire to be something bigger, something better? Well, author Y.E. Shavola has penned 2 incredible books that will help guide you down a new path, a path that will lead towards self-development, wealth creation, renewal, and rejuvenation. Learn how to make your dreams a reality. You owe it to yourself and your loved ones. Y.E. Shavola's books are available on Amazon right now. How to Occupy Till Jesus Comes, Self-Development, and How to Occupy Till Jesus Comes, Wealth Creation. Get them at our website through our Amazon link at JIGGYJAGUAR.com. Find them on Amazon. Check out Y.E. Shavola's incredible books, How to Occupy Till Jesus Comes, Self-Development, and How to Occupy Till Jesus Comes, Wealth Creation. Today on Amazon.
Welcome to the Racing to Success Minute with Nadine Lajoie. Prepare your executive summary. I know a lot of people, they are in business, they don't have a business plan, but at least you have to have your executive summary, which is a resume of a business plan, or at least 5 or 6 pages to really share with your customers or your potential investor or your clients what are your products and what are your services, what is your mission, what is your vision, what is your marketing strategy. Those are all the points that the people who want to do business, especially investor, to add some capital into your business, they need to see that you did your homework, because without that it's not possible to attract money. So this is Nadine at NadineRacing.com/free for all different bonuses for you guys.
24/7, 365. The #2 internet radio program according to TalkStreamLive.com. This is the Jiggy Jaguar Radio Show.
Welcome back to the big broadcast, coast to coast and butter to butter all over the World Wide Web and on 50-plus stations throughout the U.S. and Canada. Peter Darroch with us today here on the program. And Peter, we were talking about some of the characters in your fabulous, fabulous new book. You've got a great book series out here, and we were discussing, of course, book 2, I believe, Tavern on the Edge of Time. Tell me about some of these characters. Sketch some more of the main characters for us.
Great. Thank you very much, James. Well, as I mentioned already, it's the Tavern on the Edge of Time. It's available from Amazon and iBooks and Barnes & Nobles and all of the normal sources, as Kindle, etc. And you can find it on my website, peterdarrach.com. Darrach is spelled D-A-R-R-A-C-H. And besides Max and Elaine, the main characters, I've talked about a number of others. I'd like to bring up two. Two is a Vietnamese woman who was actually bought by Xanthus Rex, the billionaire arms merchant and chief bad guy, and has been tailored for extreme acceleration, so that using enzyme therapy she can actually build bone and muscle fiber so that she can take 20 Gs consistently. But she can also slim down again when she reverses the enzyme. So she's a really interesting character, I think, and of course goes through a certain personal development in the course of the stories. So I think you'll find her very intriguing. Then there's Artemisia Glitterescu, who starts life as sort of the right-hand woman of a millionaire on the MOSA spacecraft, the Mars Orbiting Smelting Array, and then becomes, over time, a much more important character. And then we've got, of course, Agregar. Agregar is somebody who shows up in Book 3, actually, The Tavern on the Edge of Time. And Agregar is the overlord of the assemblers of these sentient electric fields which like to animate different kinds of matter. And basically, in meeting Agregar, Max has really met his match, and there is a very desperate situation at the tavern. And I think that's really the climax of the Tavern on the Edge of Time when those two meet.
We've
And I
got...
should mention
Yes,
that a
go.
lot of this is driven by technology developed by Mars. And I've tried very hard to keep the environment very, very scientific and fact-based wherever possible. And, of course, then I've added the fantasy element that you'd expect from a science fiction series. And one of those is something called the probability field, which was developed on Phobos, one of the moons of Mars, where there's a laboratory. And it is essentially a teleportation technology, but it has certain limitations. It's simply telling matter to move from place to place. And at first, it's not possible to transfer people or living things. You can only transfer matter. So they're using it, for example, for extracting hydrogen from Jupiter's hydrogen level. You see, at 10,000 meters below the surface of Jupiter, there is actually solid metallic hydrogen because of the pressure around Jupiter. So they can extract that using the probability field and have this wonderful resource for fueling fuel cells and other kinds of uses. And they're busily building their first colony at Callisto, the fourth major moon of Jupiter, in the course of Book 3.
It is a fantastic, fantastic guest with us today here on the line. We've got Peter Darroch with us today talking about this incredible book, Tavern on the Edge of Time. And, Peter, tell me about your writing style.
Well, actually, I try not to read very much science fiction. I was addicted to it in my youth, as I guess many of us were, 13, 14, 15, but after that, I was much interested in historical fiction, people like Bernard Cornwell or Patrick O'Brien, who've written long and very popular series in other centuries. So I think I probably picked up something of their style, but I do try to give you action and also a good sense of the ambience, the way things look and smell and feel. And I was very pleased with a review that I got from a recent reader on Amazon who said that reading my books is like dreaming with your eyes open. And, you know, that kind of praise, that kind of feedback, even when it's negative, it's great to have feedback from readers. But, of course, I love to have positive feedback.
Peter Darroch with us today here on the program. Peter, before we let you go, how do we find you online? How do we get a hold of you, my friend?